Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I just wanted to reiterate that any departure this evening from policy would obviously have to outweigh what it's there to do, essentially, because it has to be justified that there is a real reason to justify, to depart from policy in allowing these 9 extra car parking spaces.
Okay.
Firstly, we've heard reference to potentially an oversight in a lack of provision of parking on the street. I do disagree with that. What Chris has explained in the presentation is that there's actually an over provision if we sort of use the current policy, which is the London plan. So there isn't an oversight. What was approved was it considered acceptable in planning terms at the time. Now, there is a climate emergency. There is a clear direction in both government national planning guidance and also in regional planning guidance that we should be looking to encourage sustainable modes of travel. And the key factor in terms of achieving that is to minimise parking availability to effectively discourage car ownership. And so I just wanted to make that clear. There wasn't an oversight. I don't agree with that. What is provided is acceptable in planning terms, and what is being proposed here would actually represent quite a stark departure from planning policy.
As Chris mentioned, this would be a departure from policy, and that is policy T 6.1, residential parking in the London plan, which would allow, as a new build, 1 car parking space per dwelling, maximum. That's maximum, whereas this application would increase the number of car parking spaces per dwelling to 2. Now, car parking standards are the most effective tool transportation planners, highway engineers have at tackling the big issues of the environment, climate change, public health, air quality, the economy, traffic congestion, and that's the reason why we now have maximum car parking standards that are much lower than previously at the time of the local plan. So for this reason, the Highway Authority objects to this planning application. Increasing the number of car parking spaces here would set a precedent where the number of car parking spaces across the whole of St Andrews Park could be increased. St Andrews Park then becomes a car park for the town centre for commuters, and we've already heard from one of the gentlemen that spoke that already cars are blocking other vehicles in, sometimes needing the police to be called. And also the site is very close to Uxbridge Town Centre, where there's all the range of services, facilities. There's a school on the site, and just at the end of the road there's a footpath onto Uxbridge Road where there are bus services.